Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tax Show for People Who Owe. I'm Dave.
And I'm Phil.
And we're celebrating that tax season's over. Whew. Should we be celebrating?
It depends.
Typical answer from Phil. Well, if you got a refund, you should be celebrating. And all in all, the IRS had a pretty good tax season, despite all the noise you may have heard.
I concur. I think people got the returns processed in time. Refunds came at a reasonable time. And for the most part, normal amount of complaints.
Normal. Okay. You're probably complaining if you owe taxes, right? You might be calling us. Phil, now that we have filing season over, it's now, well, Optima season. You want to call it that?
Sure. Optima season, collection season. Collection is back in a big way.
So it's the tax season for people who owe.
Correct.
Okay, that's what the show's called. Wow, what do you know? So here we are. And what should we expect in 2025? I filed for 2024, or I didn't file. And what should we be looking at this year versus last year if I owe taxes?
I think, again, it depends. There's different types of buckets for collections. You can be assigned to a revenue officer, a private debt collector, or what IRS calls ACS, Automated Collection System.
Okay, let's start with the more vanilla taxpayer who never owed until this year, 2024, this filing season, and they now have a balance. It's under, say, $25,000. What can I expect?
Good. The first notice come June should be a CP14, letting you know that you have unpaid taxes still due to the IRS.
So Phil, is that a soft notice?
Yeah, as soft as you can get. In fact, it's a statutory notice, so it's required that the IRS sends this out to every single taxpayer who owes them a balance.
Before they can do what?
Escalate the collection process.
Aha, ding, ding, ding. So this notice, as I understand, has been growing over the years, the amount they send out. There are more and more taxpayers who owe year over year. That's been the trend. And we can expect somewhere around 14 million a year for this tax season.
Right. In fact, the tax gap has grown to almost $700 billion, David.
At least, we would say. And so that's 14 million. Perhaps many of you guys who are going to be getting this notice CP14. 14 million 14s.
Perfect.
Okay, here we go. What's the notice after that? What could they be expecting if you do not respond and pay your full balance?
So IRS is getting a little bit more sophisticated, and depending on how delinquent you are, maybe even the size of the balance, you can expect what I call the 500 series. So CP 501, CP 503, or even a CP 504.
Okay. In our last episode, we went over the notice stream that Phil's mentioning here, and each time these numbers go up in the 500 series, the more threatening and more potentially dangerous they are. Fair?
Right. A stronger and stronger sense of urgency should definitely be felt.
Okay. We probably receive more notices than any single source here in America because we represent a lot of taxpayers who owe. And just recently, there's been a shift, a change, Phil, to taxpayers who owe and what they can expect this year. And what is that?
So they can expect not just the LT11, which is your final notice to get things right before they start collecting. We've actually seen our ACS letters issue levies and garnishments against taxpayers.
This is important because you haven't seen this, taxpayers who owe haven't seen this for a long, long time. How long has it been?
I lost count since COVID.
Yeah, it's been a long time, months and months and months. So you've gotten away with owing the IRS without actual levy or enforcement action. But we're seeing it now, hot out of our mailroom. We've seen two of these and big ones in the last few days.
And it's my personal observation that IRS is probably targeting those with high net worth, high balances due to the IRS first, because we've been seeing on these levies and garnishments, 600,000 owed to the IRS, 300,000, $250,000. And so it's natural that this is going to trickle down to the everyday taxpayer who may just owe $10,000 for a single year.
Yes, and that's what the new Treasury Secretary is saying now. He's going to really be focused on broader enforcement. He's calling it more equal enforcement, not just the high income categories, but all categories. So we feel you can expect that transitioning down to those lower balances, which means we got to be prepared.
And we're talking about $100 billion in unpaid taxes every single year. There's more than 10 million taxpayers that fall into this bucket, so you're not alone.
Those are massive numbers, and for the average taxpayer, that may not mean much to you, but what you can expect is a notice and actual enforcement this year versus the last few years.
Right. And it's not going to come with a knock on your door. It's not a field officer.
Good point.
It's going to come in an envelope. So make sure you open your mail.
Well, an envelope with a lot of electronic ties behind it to your bank account, wages, your pay stubs, these types of things that you haven't probably seen here in a long, long time.
And now's a good time to remind everyone what are the different types of collection activities that the IRS can take against you. I had mentioned wage garnishments, levies, but also remember there's seizures of actual property. Your home can go on auction. That parcel of land that you owe, your van, your jewelry, right? We see these things on irsauctions.gov, right? And also not to forget your right to travel. Your passport can be revoked. Your application for renewal can be denied.
As we covered in our prior episode, you can expect less personal enforcement, but you can expect more enforcement, which means it's going to be notices, it's going to be levies, bank accounts, these kind of things, and passports, easy ways for the IRS to get at you. If you're not sure where you stand with the IRS, I encourage you to go to Optima Tax Shield and look at one of our monitoring plans. If you do know where you stand with the IRS and you have a balance and you're worried about paying it, then you should reach out to Optima, call us, and we'll be glad to help you. Phil, any last parting words?
As usual, do something. Whether it's opening your mail, giving us a call, make sure you don't stick your head in the sand. Enforcement's real.
It's real this year. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next time. Hey, everyone. Thank you for watching today. Please remember to like
And subscribe.
And if you are a taxpayer who owes, we encourage you to go to our website, optimataxrelief.com.
And remember, do something.